What is going on, beautiful people? Today we are talking about building massive amounts of discipline and the habits that go along with building discipline, and really what that's going to look like for you over the next year. 2025 is going to be your greatest year of your entire life. I hope you can feel it. And I'm excited for the show.
I'm excited for the show too. And hello, Mimi. Nice to see you, my friend. How are you feeling today, Leo?
I am feeling good. We got Miss Mimi here. We got Ashley
What's up,
Bailey.
Ashley?
We got Jazz. What's going on, guys? It is so good to see you guys here on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon. Welcome on in. We have a very special gift coming for so many of you coming up. We have some very cool things coming actually down the pipeline, and I want to talk more about that. You know, as this show is building, we're going to be doing more events. We're going to be talking about more challenges, more opportunities for you to come hang out with us in person. And we really want this to be a place where you, your friends, your family members can show up and be encouraged, be inspired, get clarity of action steps, because ultimately, as you show up to the daily entrepreneurial church, that inspiration starts to happen. So come on in, welcome, and let's get into the topic of discipline today. Leo, where do you want to start?
I would say number one is to do it for your future self, not just the current version of you. And when you start doing it for your future self, you can start making your bed because future you's going to come up. He's going to be so happy. Or you work out because future you's going to be happier with a better body or a healthier mind, or future you's going to be so much happier that you ate that salad or you had that good meal that you cooked up versus having eaten the absolute terrible thing for you that tasted so good in the moments, but later on you didn't do so well. So that mentality, let's start with, is do it for your future self.
This is such a big thing because discipline our motivation can fade, and that's when discipline kicks in. When we are feeling excited, you ever wake up early in the morning one morning and you just felt incredible? You was all excited. You was excited about the day. You was excited about maybe a trip you had planned as a kid. I always remember I had trouble going to sleep on Christmas Eve because I was so excited about Christmas morning.
Yes.
And I would wake up super early on Christmas morning, and all the other times of the year, waking up early was a dread. But on Christmas morning, I was so excited to wake up early because of the opportunity, the excitement. Yet, the day after Christmas, the toys have been unwrapped, the Christmas is over, and the snow is melting. And I always remember that motivation disappearing. Now, all of a sudden, what the morning before, maybe I wanted to get up at 4 a.m. and was excited to. The next morning, 6 a.m. was a struggle. And I share this because it can be that way in business. You're an entrepreneur. We get excited. We get opportunities. We get excited about something we're going to do. We're going to an event. We're going to hang out. We're going to meet our people. And you're hanging out doing these things, but then motivation can tend to fade. And that's where discipline kicks in, knowing I'm doing this, as Leo said, for my future self.
I think a lot of people fail because they wait for the motivation to kick in. And it's something that's said all over personal development. It's all over social media now. They talk so much about how you can't wait for motivation. But when we really think about it, discipline is an identity that you create.
Yeah.
Right? You've always been pretty disciplined since I met you. I was not a very disciplined person. I was someone that was very go with the flow, but I would wait for a kick to come in, a spark to kick in for me to do something. If I wanted to make a piece of content, I would wait for a spark. You would see it. You would say, bro, you got to make some content. It's like, I don't feel it right now.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've developed a discipline where nowadays, I most of the time don't want to make content. I most of the times don't want to do things. This show we love, but there's days like today where we have so much going on.
Yeah.
Like so much going on where we ran here because we had a minute left, and the topic was created 4 minutes ago. And I was like, Andrew, what are we talking about? And he was like, you make the show. I was like, oh, that's right. We sometimes don't want to do it, but discipline is being able to do things with a smile, even if you don't want to do it.
I think this is a game changer because your downtime will determine your uptime. And as you are deciding, hey, look, this is the person I want to become. I want to, when we said, hey, we want to do this show, because of the last 11 years of building because of the last 11 years of foundations, because of the last 11 years of doing deals and negotiations and building up ourselves, because of Leo's many years of personal development. Thank you, brother. And growth. Now we have the ability to share and, of course, typically be massively prepared. And when there comes times where time doesn't allow us to, we're able to give what it is that we've built over time. And I share that because momentum builds. Type it in the chat, momentum builds. And this is, for me, something I didn't realize. Just like compounding interest takes effect over time and changes your life, over time, momentum builds. Some of the deals that I talked to, the sellers I talked to on real estate deals in 10 or 11 years ago, some of those people now send deals because over time, momentum has grown, momentum has built. And so being able to put in the action, to put in the discipline, to go for the walk every morning, to do the thing, make the sales call, connect with the buyer, connect with the lender, connect with the seller, that builds over time.
I didn't like this topic whenever I saw it on YouTube or whenever I saw someone talking about discipline, because I knew deep down that I didn't want to build discipline. And that was during the time where I didn't have a big enough reason why. I didn't have a big enough vision yet. And, I was making some money. It was okay. But nothing was able to push me harder to do the things that actually develop discipline for me. Now I understand that it's bigger than just the word discipline. It's bigger than just doing the thing. It's actually trusting yourself. I trust you because what you say you're going to do and what you tell me, I know you're going to do, and it's true. That's why we've been partners for 4 years. And I understand that if I say something, I'm going to do it, and I'm very careful with my words. But that self-trust is built little bit by little bit by little bit. It's not built by saying, I'm going to build this huge company, and then you build it, where, of course, that would build some trust, but it's because of the little things that were within building that company that made someone else trust you. So for everyone on here, we can start practicing discipline by just saying little things that you're going to do and do it every single time, which sounds like a small thing, but a lot of people don't do that. They lie to themselves consistently on accident.
Something that was huge for me is to learn discipline with willingness to change. Discipline with willingness to change. What does that mean? To be willing to change, to be willing to realize what ain't working and shift it, right? To be honest with ourselves, yet to say, I am going to make a commitment to do, because we can't know if something's working unless we try it sometimes. I could go to the gym once and say, gosh, I didn't lose weight. I could eat healthy one meal and say, goodness, I don't feel any better. But over time, the discipline's built, momentum is created. Now our life can begin to change, just like our financial habits. Make one sales call one time, your business is not going to take off. But as you say, I wasn't good at that thing, but I am good at this thing. Let me lean into my superpower. So be willing to be disciplined. Be willing to try it. Be willing to stick with things for long periods of time. Also be willing to analyze and consistently be growing and shifting.
So I was talking to one of our students the other day, and I was telling him very impractical, practical advice. And I remember being at my house, there was always junk food in the cabinet. My pops loved junk food, so he would always buy it. So eventually I would eat it. I would get super hungry. We had no other food at the house, so I would eventually eat the junk food. And I thought about it. I was like, hey, how can I fix this? I looked back a couple days ago. This was like last Wednesday. And I was like, hey, we don't have any junk food in our cabinet.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten junk food since we lived here.
Was you looking for it?
I looked in the cabinet for something, and I started to think about like very practical advice that I would give myself is, hey, go buy a new house and don't buy any junk food, and you won't eat any junk food. And that's what has happened with our home, is that there is no junk food and we don't eat any junk food. But back at my house, back in my old environment, there was always different candies, different cookies, everything that I could have, and I couldn't beat my willpower was not strong enough to get over the junk food. Now there's no willpower to be had because we don't have cookies. We don't have any bad stuff here. So think about that sometimes, of the impractical, practical advice, that how can we develop a position in life where we can get in a new home, right? Because sometimes it's so impractical, because how can we think that of just, hey, let's just buy another $1 million home and not put junk food in it? But now we can create this type of game where, hey, let's work so hard so we can get into a new environment and change our whole entire life, change our whole entire habits. And yeah, I told the student that he's working on it now. He's getting a new place.
I think, guys, as we determine what we want, this was big for me because I had trouble visualizing. Like my first goal, you hear me say it often, was to make $2,000 a month. Like, how do I get to 2,000 a month? So my dream was so small because it's all I knew. And being able to, you know, I once heard Steve Harvey say, God wants to up his ask, but you've got to first up your give. And I said that backwards. God wants to up his give, but you got to up your ask, meaning you have to ask more, ask bigger, think bigger. Make sure that you ask God for the things you want. Make sure you think bigger. Make sure you ask yourself the decision isn't made when I'm standing at the pantry and there's a bunch of junk food in front of me. The decision is made when we're on ordering on the Uber app groceries for the week. Or if you go to the grocery store, when you're walking through the grocery store. The decision isn't made to be successful when one day you just all of a sudden say, gosh, I guess I should take this opportunity that's in front of me. The decision is made when every single day we're learning, we're growing, we're building, we're purposely putting ourselves in target-rich environments. We're purposely putting ourselves in rooms, virtually and in person, where you're rubbing shoulders with, shaking hands with, and being around other high-level people who think where you want to head. And so an forward look is a life-changing, game-changing way to really improve your life, improve your situation, to improve your discipline. I surround myself with great people. My brother wouldn't let me not be disciplined because if I say I'm going to do something and I start to lag on it, you'd call me out on it. Because why? We surround ourselves by people who are going to hold us accountable.
So something I want you guys to do here, I often have my people visualize, and I have them close their eyes and see a version of themselves. And when they see that version of themselves, I ask them, like, who is this person that you saw? They typically say, wow, they had a lot more money. They were a lot more confident. They picked themselves up more. They had more poise. And I would ask them, like, hey, does that person have more discipline? Explain their discipline to me. And they say, wow, this person doesn't skip a workout. This person makes their calls. This person posts every day. And I'm like, okay, so would you agree that in order to get there, a lot has to change between now and then? And they say, yes, 100%. And I watch them over the next 3 months and they change. They make that shift because they realize where they are now is not going to get them to where they're going to go. All right, what got them to where they are now is not going to get them to where they want to go. So let's do this together for a second here, okay? What I like to do, and this is just going to be an impromptu lesson on visualization. You can do this for yourself, but of course it helps to have someone else walk you through it. If you're driving, don't do this. If you're sitting, just sit down, be on a chair, have your feet on the floor. But the biggest thing is you always ground yourself first. So, Andrew, you want to take a deep breath in for 7 seconds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You hold it. And you hold it. You're calm. You're in a good state. You're allowing your body to relax and breathe it all out. All of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You hold it. Let your nervous system completely relax. Pay attention to your body. Know that you have a body. Put all your mind there. And then when you take a deep breath in, do it through your mouth. Ready? Take a deep breath in through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now let it all go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it and close your eyes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let your breath go back to normal.
And if you're driving, reopen your eyes now.
That's right. So when you're in this state of mind, guys, I just want you to imagine yourself 2 years from now. 2 years from now, imagine the home that you're in and imagine waking up in that home. Pay attention to the bed you're in, how comfortable it is. You're opening up your eyes. Think about who is next to you. Maybe you wake up with your spouse. Imagine how happy you are. And I want you to just go to the curtains and open up the curtains. See how absolutely beautiful and gorgeous your view is. This is a home that you worked for. This is a home maybe you built. It's a home you've been dreaming of. You've been visualizing for so long. And I just want you to imagine going downstairs. Right? You've got a beautiful, beautiful home. You go downstairs. Just imagine the feeling of being in this amazing, amazing home. And you decide to do a bit of a workout. And you take out a yoga mat and you're doing a little bit of a session there. Maybe you're doing some push-ups or you're doing some yoga, and you are feeling just so good about your body. You're feeling so strong. And I want you to imagine a mirror right in front of you. And you look at that mirror, and I want you to imagine what you see. Just imagine what you see and how you feel in this mirror. You've worked so hard over the past 2 years. You didn't skip a gym workout. You didn't skip a stretching session. You've eaten so good over the past 2 years because you've built such great habits that have absolutely changed your life. Just imagine the body that you have and the feeling that you have when you look at this body. You're like, wow, I've worked so hard. If you're finishing your workout now and you're feeling so good in every single way, and you decide to go to your laptop. You're in your kitchen island. It's a beautiful, beautiful island. Just imagine a big kitchen island with an open concept house if that's what you want. Just imagine all the love you feel. Maybe you're listening to some oldies music. It's just a good time. And you go to your computer and you're taking a look at sales. You're taking a look at sales over the past, really just the past 48 hours, because you just got back from vacation. So your team has been running the show, and you're looking at the sales and you're seeing the highest numbers you guys have ever hit. And you're like, wow, maybe I should go on vacation some more. Sales are up, and you're getting a couple texts, and you're taking a look at the text, and your team is just sending you congratulations after congratulations. And they're just saying, wow, you did it. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the hard work you've put in. Thank you for being so incredible. Thank you for inspiring me. Because you had set a goal 3 months ago for the team to hit a certain number and for your team to hit certain metrics, and you guys just hit it today. Just think about how you feel in that moment. Think about how you feel after hitting those metrics, and sales are good. Money is good, guys. You are in a good place. And then I want you to imagine yourself walking over to the living room, and you just take a sit. You just take a quick sat. Take a quick sat, and you just sit back and you thank God for all the amazing things that have happened to you over the past 2 years. And you say, thank you for all the lessons. Thank you for all the challenges. Thank you for all the hardships, because it has made me into the person I am today. I just really want you to imagine what is happening in your life and what has happened over the past 2 years and who it is that you have become. And as you're sitting there, I just want you to take one more deep breath in. 7 seconds. Ready? Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And hold it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let it all out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let your breath go back to normal, guys. So what that was a visualization. It was a guided visualization, but what you should have been able to see was a version of yourself that is alive, that is created if you did not skip the gym, if you had the home of your dreams, if you were financially in a great place. And what you'll start to notice is that that person does exist. You did see a version of yourself with a better body, and you did see a version of yourself who was making more money, and you did see a version of yourself who was maybe with an incredible spouse and incredible friendships. And my question for you is, does that person have a certain type of discipline? Does that person have a different mindset? And what does that person do on a day-to-day basis that lets them have the habits they have today? That is where I want you guys to put your focus. This is what Andrew has done multiple times. This is a visualization I probably ran you through, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
and you visualize the version of yourself that you have today created and surpassed probably.
I used to have a very hard time visualizing. Now I love it.
So everyone who's on here, sometimes a picturing of the mind, a visualization of your future can be the antidote, could be the healing process for you to start making an actual change. Because if you want that version of yourself to exist, it can exist very fast. But you have to change the identity that you walk with. Because what identity does that person walk with? I'm a confident version of myself. Or I'm a confident person. I'm a faithful person. I'm a faithful man. I'm an executor. I get things done. So then when you have those characteristics, you just simply ask yourself, what does he or she think in their mind? Right? Are they calling themselves negative thoughts, negative things? Or are they constantly pushing positivity in their mind to be able to have those traits? So this is kind of just a formula for discipline that I've used in a more spiritual aspect, you should say.
Yeah. I think this is a big piece too, because while I seen people who were visualizing or who would talk about morning routines, and sometimes I've seen people in my early years using that as an excuse for not doing the work. So because that was my perception of it, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the work. And so being able to step into, of course, we've got to do the work, but that is part of the work. It's not all the work. You can visualize all day and do nothing behind it, after it, and it won't do anything for you. But if you visualize, now the work you are doing is going somewhere. Imagine you just get in your car and you just start driving. Where are you headed? I don't know. Wherever I go. And so that's what doing the work without a clear vision, type it in the chat, clarity of vision. Doing the work without clarity of vision, through visualization, it will cause you to have a lot of movement, but not always in the right direction. And that's what I did for years. I had a lot of movement, some of it in the right direction, but some of it not, because I didn't have that clarity of vision.
You're always moving towards whatever you visualize.
So true.
And you're always going in that direction. And sometimes our vision is tainted by what other people have put onto us or what the media puts onto us. You watch things on social media, you watch television, you watch movies, and you start to see those things, and it creates a culmination of a vision for your life, a vision for your mind that you're always going to go towards, because that culmination of thoughts is going to be your reality.
Yeah.
Right? The way you view yourself in the mirror is typically a view that you've had from other people saying certain things to you. And I don't know if it's an analogy, it's a story, but I've heard multiple stories of people who were maybe not in the best shape, but they had never learned the words fat or ugly or any of these things, and they just saw themselves as beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. While I do think everyone should be working out and consistently always working on themselves and be as healthy as they can, I think it's a beautiful thought that someone who was never told that they were fat or ugly or any of these words was able to not think that.
I don't know. Sometimes we have to be shamed into our fitness.
Sometimes.
I'm just playing.
But when we think about that, it is your view of yourself and your view of the world is typically given to you by somebody else until you've learned how to fully take control of your mind. And I urge everyone here to question everything and to start to understand words at the highest level. What does that mean? What does that mean to you, Andrew?
So for me, oh gosh, I would have to say that I think we throw a lot of sayings around. Let me think of how to say this in the shortest time possible. I think of the quote, if I would have had more time to prepare, I would have wrote you a shorter letter. I think it's such a powerful thing when we can understand the meaning behind our actions. And so as you are taking action, as you are doing the things, you're not just spinning your wheels. because there's no reason to do probably 80% of the items we do in a given day don't need to be done by us. You could delegate it, you could hand it off, or perhaps not do it at all, or automate it. There's so many things that we do every single day, but it's because of lack of, number one, clarity, where we're headed, or number two, lack of understanding of how to hand it off, delegate it, or automate it. I was raised to do it yourself. Work hard. We built houses. We done things. We saved money by doing things ourselves. And people who are low on cash or broke are people who trade their time to save money. People of wealth, we trade our money to save time. And when I heard someone say that, that was like an aha moment for me. And I was like, that is so true. We all have a limited, finite amount of time. But when we are poor, when we're broke, that is when we get into the bad habit of trading our time, hours and hours of our time, to save a little chunk of money. Once we understand how to play real life Monopoly, but it comes down to not only hearing, the Bible talks about that, don't just be hearers of the word, but to be doers. How do we best learn? By taking information, take the pieces that are applying to you, and immediately go implement. That's why at the end of these shows, we a lot of times will encourage you, go take an action, go make the call, go connect with someone, go host the meetup, because that action step will absolutely transform your trajectory of success.
1,000%. So we wanted to keep this one short, especially because we have a crazy day today, and give you guys the visualization there. My action step for you guys is to do it again. Close your eyes, visualize who that person is, and write out the traits. Confident, charismatic, executor, disciplined, whatever those things are, write down those traits, and then write down the habits that equate to those traits.
This show will be one you want to come back to over and over. That's a visualization that Leo just walked you through. It was incredible. It was transformative for me. And so you're going to want to save that, maybe clip that out by itself and just go back and play it over and over and over again.
You guys are amazing. Visualization is powerful. And again, think about the habits that are created to become the disciplined person that you visualize. That right there is the map. So you want to go back and rewatch.
We'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time, guys. Thank you for being here.
Deuces. Peace.
Bye for now.